This video serves to give you an overview of the PlantGUARD system. This is from the perspective of ARTC users. So when you log in, you will probably open up onto either the dashboard or the plant page here. So what we'll do is have a quick look at the dashboard. We'll move to the plant page, give you a quick view of what the different features are around that, and then we'll take you into a more granular view of a piece of plant. So then we have some more structured order to this. On the dashboard here, the dashboard is just a quick view page. It's configurable. We can add things to it, take away, depending on you as a user, what you'd like to see. In this case, you'll see up top, supplier metrics. We're looking at all plant that is of your own, plus that of your contractor or supply chain. If you just want to have a look at your own plant, just go to the My Plant tab and the History tab. That's just a quick history of all things going on. And this is where you can choose particular dates, and then you can filter by the different types of events that may occur. If you're looking for checklists or maintenance or any scans that are being done, you just click through on those. Now, just going back to the dashboard, as I mentioned, quick view, we create buttons on the left sides. If you need to view tasks, you're a user that needs that, or you need to review applications, you just click through on these. In addition, we can create widgets or pie graphs down the bottom, which are click through. For example, this center one, the plant status, we can see that there's 389 active pieces of plant in the system, and that's inclusive of all contractor plant and your own ARTC plant, and there's currently 58 in application that are in the review stage. If you click through on these, we can access those. That just gives you a quick overview of dashboard. Now, more importantly, let's move into the plant page. Now, the plant page is set up where there's a piece of plant per row. I'm just going to expand this up top here if you need to expand it out. And we've got a set of tabs along the top, and also the ability to click through on a row of plant. And there's a few other features over here I'll explain shortly. Now, the My Plant page, My Plant is ARTC plant. Now, if you need to see more of these per page, if you scroll down the bottom, we can see rows per page is 10. You can change that to 25, 50, 100, and you scroll through them all by using the page back and forth buttons here. Now, as mentioned, this page is also configurable. Down the bottom right here, open column picker. If you want to see particular columns, rows about things, click on this. It'll open up a pop-up box, and you can click or tick box anything that you as a user need to see for yourself. So not everyone's going to want to see the same things depending on who you are as a user. But if you click on these, what that will do is create a column of what you clicked on. So again, customize how you want to see it. Now, as mentioned, each piece of plant has its own row. If we click through on that row, that'll take through to a more granular view, and I'll get back to that shortly. But what that's going to open up is this page. As I said, we'll come back to that just shortly. Now, getting back to the plant page, up top, you've got My Plant, which is ARTC plant. If you click on the green button, that's all the active plant. Now, you can see the plant status over the right-hand side. The plant is active. You will see different symbols here depending on what the status of that plant is. Now, as you can see, this is down a group. Let's just click this out a bit. Downer Group's plant here, again, you can click through and have a look about their piece of plant. Gives you details, quick views, and there's certain things we'll go back to explaining about that shortly. Now back into this plant page. Across the top, any plant that may be deemed non-compliant will end up in this column. Currently there aren't any assessments. We're not using that for our ARTC at the moment, but for applications, all pieces of plant, you'll remember before we had 58 of them. If we scroll down, you'll see there are 58 in there, and this is where all pieces of plant in application get reviewed. Now you can see here on plant status, this piece was rejected, for example, in the application. So that goes back to the supplier to update, edit what changes have to be made. And we can see these other symbols which tell you that there's an event or a task or something awaiting for review. Now, don't worry about unconnected plant. Most importantly as well here is the select. Now, if you are an ARTC user and you are looking to search for plant, click on this and you're going to get an advanced search box. You can actually search by different attributes or by the plant ID. If you want to filter this by a particular supplier, you can click on that supplier, say we did to Downer Group, search, all their plant will show up only to do with Downer Group. And then you can click through on these to a particular piece of plant you're looking for. Now, if you need to reset filter, that'll just take you back to the plant page. And again, you just go through. Again, if you need to search from here, you can choose by supplier or by particular attributes, IDs, things like that. And that's where the advanced search comes into the picture. Okay, let's get out of the search area. Let's take you into a more granular view. Now let's go down to 690M7. This is a ballast regulator. You click on this, you're going to see this view. Now very quickly, you've got things around here that you can access. You can very quickly see the plant status is in green. That means it's compliant, it's gone through and accepted all the requirements of ARTC. You've got some specifications about that plant, an image. When the plant first gets scanned, you'll see in here an actual map of where that was done, and also what gauge it was approved over here. Now around this page, you're going to be able to do things with this plant. You can create tasks, force a flag, begin checklists. I won't get into those too much, but if you need to access documentation, over to the right hand side here, you'll see a documentations tab. And if you click on that, it'll take you through to a place where you can create folders, add plant, upload files, things like that. Now back to this page here, most importantly, we want to have a look at the operating restrictions here. Now operating restrictions or operating conditions on the ARTC network, you'll be able to see allowable max speed here. You'll also see specific restrictions for operating on track or in a work site. Now that's this section here where you see T4BW. Now very important is this here. These operating restrictions are from question sets in the application and also applied by rolling stock engineering. Now in this case here we see one that says vehicle must be block worked. Now that comes from the question, is the vehicle compliant for signal working? If noted as BW here, vehicle must be block worked, then it cannot activate track circuits and is not signal compliant and must operate under alternate safe working methods. That is block working or a track occupancy authority or track warrants. So this is a place where you go and see what the operating restrictions or conditions are to be on that network. Right, let's take you out of this here. We're going to go and look for a piece of plant so we can show you a little bit about signal working compliance and detailed operating conditions. Let's use the search button to find this. I do know the number 690M247. Let's search for that piece of plant. Now click through on that row and that's going to open up this piece of plant. Let's just expand that page out. Again, you're going to see all the same things you saw in that granular view before, but what we want to highlight here is the signal working compliant nature and the special operating restrictions here. So if you look down here on the right hand side of the page, you are going to see the T3 restriction, which basically said this vehicle is capable of operating signals as per operating notes. Now you also see the maximum rail speeds here, and underneath here where you see special operating conditions that have been attached, you can click on this attached documentation and it will download and you can open that to view it. Now where detailed operating conditions exist, documents, as I said, have been attached here, and again they're there for viewing purpose. But this is just to give you a little bit of an example of a piece of plant that is signal working compliant. Okay, let's get out of this page here, and what we're going to lastly just have a quick look at you as a user. If you need to find out about your account details and access and things like that, if you go to the top right corner, you'll see your initials up here as a user. If you click on these, you can go to account settings, and this is where you see business details, but Also, you'll see, depending on who you are as a user, there are certain elements up here where users are managed, permissions are granted, etc. But most importantly, lastly, if you, let's just reset that filter into My Plant. Lastly, if you need PlantGUARD help, the best thing to do is up to the top right corner, click on here, and you can go to Help Chat or the Help Center. Now, the Help Center is a place which has a whole lot of different articles about the how-tos, ARTC specific education articles, which are a mix of video and imaging. Help Chat, very important one. If you need help chat about how to do something, click on this. And the fact that I am a super admin doesn't help that. So the Help Center, click on this, takes you through to different articles. So if you go to ARTC specific, if you go down to different categories, don't use the most popular, but if you go down to different categories on the side, you'll see help articles here. Anyways, that is a quick run through. If you have questions, please ask. Thank you very much.